Welcome to Power Code Music. In today's presentation, we're going to talk about choosing the right microphone for your voice. Presenting a list of something like the top 10 microphones under $100 is not going to matter much unless that's all that you can afford to spend. The truth in this realm is that price may not determine what may be the best mic for your specific voice. So let's understand this from the very start. For years, I used what I could afford, which was a Shure SM57. This is one of the greatest microphones of all time and works great for a variety of scenarios. However, in hindsight, it was not even the best or even a good microphone for my particular voice. After years of searching, I discovered a great microphone for my particular voice, and that is the Rode NT1 condenser microphone. Just because this mic works well for me doesn't mean it will be best for you. This is because we know that everyone's voice is unique, so you must find the microphone that makes your particular voice sound best. Now, before I go any further, let's get down to the truth of the matter. The fact is that if anyone tells you that they know what microphone that you should buy for your voice before going through the process of discovery with you first, avoid them like the plague. They are not helping you. This is critical because choosing the right microphone is often a process or a journey that takes time, patience, and is ultimately a decision that you should make for yourself. If you don't like the way you sound using a mic, don't let someone else tell you that you sound great. Ultimately, you are the one that has to live with the results. Your voice is like a thumbprint on a recording. It's one of the few things on a record that can truly identify you. For example, guitarists and keyboards and drummers often take the time necessary to find the right instrument to record with that showcases their talents and abilities. It never ceases to amaze me how many vocalists don't do this with microphones. Many let somebody else tell them which microphones they should use. So when you commit to buying a microphone, it's important that you choose the product that brings out the best in your voice, that highlights your talents and your abilities. With this comes the hard part, which is the truth. Now, this means that the selection that you choose should not be totally based on price, but on the microphone at the end of your search that actually sounds best for your specific type of voice. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's move on to analyzing some tips for choosing the right microphone for your voice. First, let's talk about understanding polar patterns. A polar or directional pattern defines how a microphone captures sound. They do this by listening within a certain spatial range and ignoring sounds outside of that specified area. Understanding polar patterns is a gateway to helping you choose the correct microphone for your voice. Some microphones have a feature that allows you to switch between various polar patterns. For instance, some current USB microphones include this functionality built in. It can be a knob with icons around it that represent a specific polar pattern. Other types of microphones achieve this by giving you the ability to change the head of the device. The impact of mics with this feature is that they offer a wider range of placement opportunities, which makes them far more useful. You'll need to decide which polar or directional pattern you'll need for how you will use your microphone. Now let's talk about some of the more common microphone polar patterns. The first is the omnidirectional microphone. These mics pick up sounds from every direction, capturing more of the essence of the environment. Another is cardioid microphones. These mics pick up directly in front and ignore all other areas. This makes them ideal for live performances. Another common one is the hypercardioid and the supercardioid microphones. Both of these mics also pick up sounds directly in front of them and ignore or block all other areas. Let's move on to our next tip, which is understanding frequency response. Frequency response is based on something called hertz. Hertz is the derived unit of frequency in the International System of Units and is defined as 1 cycle per second. That's named after Heinrich Rudolf Hertz, who was the first person to provide conclusive proof of the existence of electromagnetic waves. In regards to the human voice, this is the number of times the vocal folds vibrate per second. Now let's see how the human voice relates to microphone specifications. A child's voice range is between 300 and 400 hertz. An adult male's voice range is between 110 and 120 hertz. An adult female's voice range is between 200 and 210 hertz. So we all know that the faster a sound vibrates, the higher the sound will be. Microphones with smaller diaphragms and/or capsules are architected to capture higher frequencies, like female voices and cymbals, for example. Large diaphragm microphones are architected to capture lower frequencies, like the male voice and bass drums. Now this is an excellent segue into our next tip, which is understanding microphone sizes and their impacts. Microphone sizes relate to their diaphragms. A microphone diaphragm is a thin membrane that moves in reaction to external sound pressure variations. 3 main diaphragm types are the moving coil, a ribbon, and a condenser. Small diaphragm microphones are often referred to as pencil mics. These are cylinder shaped and are often denser. They generally have a wide dynamic range and a good sound pressure level, which makes them great for use on acoustic instruments. Medium diaphragm microphones have attributes of both large and small diaphragm mics. They can have a big, fat sound of a large diaphragm and still retain the highs of smaller diaphragm microphones. Large diaphragm microphones are the industry standard in professional recording studios. This is because their size makes them the most sensitive and able to capture the most sonic details. The result is a more natural and realistic sound. This size is ideal for capturing virtually any type of sound. Let's move on to our next tip, which is understanding that more expensive doesn't always mean better. The key point here is that the best microphone that highlights your vocal talent may not be an expensive one, and that's good news. Depending upon who you ask, a great microphone is affordable and effective, period. The best microphone from this perspective is one that steps up and takes your vocals to the next level on its own with presence, all at a price that you can afford. The final tip in this regard is understanding the importance of testing. I can't stress enough how critical it is to be able to test as many microphones as you can before you decide to buy. It's the only way to be sure. Now, there are several ways that you can test microphones before you buy them. One is have the salesman at your local music store set up the microphones that you want to demo, record them, and listen back on your best headphones. Number 2, rent the microphones that you want to demo from your music store and test them out over several days in your own home studio. Number 3, borrow microphones from your friends and demo them in your home studio. Number 4, if you can afford it, Book a minimum amount of time in a smaller professional recording studio just to demo their microphones. Professional recording studios often have a wide selection of microphones. The three common types of microphones that you will encounter most in your search for the Holy Grail are the condenser microphone, the dynamic microphone, and the ribbon microphone. Let's start with the condenser. Condenser mics are great for studio recording. Now, this type of mic requires power, so a device with phantom power, except in a case where batteries can be used, is required. The next is the dynamic mic, and these mics are pretty reliable. Now, they're great for loud sound sources, and they manage them well without damage or unwanted distortion. They work great and well treated in isolated environments. Last but not least is ribbon microphones. Now, ribbon mics are a throwback to the old days where they were very popular in radio. They were great at picking up higher frequencies and notes warmly and smoothly. They represent and offer a more vintage sound and feel. In summary, for more information and details on microphones, watch my video, Microphones Simply Explained, on this channel. Lastly, if you have any additional tips or helpful hints in this area, please add them to the comments section of this presentation so everyone can benefit. Well, that's a wrap. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up and click the subscribe button on your screen now to join our group. We have new videos coming out every 7 to 10 days, and we would love to have you be a part of our team. Also, leave a comment in the comment section below and check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Spotify. While you're here, listen to some of the other music on the channel, watch some of the other videos, let us know what you think about that too. Thank you so much for stopping by. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you soon.